Hey everyone, it's me again. Today we're doing a new project. I'm going to be making a very large in terms of the diameter of my ring Deco mesh wreath. And I need it large because I have a project in mind and I don't want it, I want to try to make it where it's not too poofy for my project, but I do need the large ring to fit what I'm going to fit inside of it. This is a 30-inch ring that I bought at Michael's. They're the only place, it's the largest place I could find one, or it's the only place I could find the largest ring. What you'll need for this project is you need some Deco mesh, and this could be whatever color you choose. This is the red that I have is 21 inches long and the length is 30 feet. And then I also have some shorter ones that is 10 inches wide and it's 10 yards, which would also be 30 feet in length. I have two of those. And I'll probably need some more red mesh too before I'm finished with it. And also you'll need some chenille stems, as they call them. They're kind of like twist ties. You're going to cut those in half. And of course your ring. Okay, so what I've done here is on my wreath ring, I took the chenille stems that I had. You could use pipe cleaners or anything like that that twists and kind of attaches to itself, kind of like a twisty tie does. And everywhere that there is a crossbar on my wreath, see if you can see it right here, I attached them. And now what I did was I attached them on between the center ring and the middle ring. If you have 4 rings, you can attach them on the 2 middle rings. I did have 4 rings on this wreath ring, and I removed one because I needed it that much wider for my project that I have in mind. But you'll go all the way around your wreath at every crossbar, and you want to do exactly what I was just showing you. You want to attach one of these, and I did not cut these in half. I left them full length so that I can make sure I had plenty of room to tie when I start working with my mesh. Now the next thing I'm going to do is in between the 2 crossbars where you have 2 ties already on each crossbar, about midways between the 2 crossbars on the center and the outer rim, you want to take another one of your ties and wrap it in there. And twist it on. And you want to, and so like, again, that's going to be in between the 2 crossbars, about midways. And you want to make them kind of tight. I'm going to have to tighten this one up. Center bar and mid bar. In the outer bar. If you have a 4th bar, it'll be the middle bar, the 2nd bar, and the 1st bar is what they'll go on. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is you want to find where you put the tie on any one of the crossbars, and that's going to be your starting point. I'm just going to pick right here. I've got a tie on a crossbar, and you want to get your mesh. My roll of mesh has already been opened, so you want to fold in your raw edges a little bit. Grab you a little poof of it, and you're going to tie it down to that crossbar. And again, that's going to be your starting and your ending point. Again, keep in mind, like I said, I don't want mine to be that poofy. You can make yours as poofy as you'd like. It all is in what you want. Okay, so we've got our first piece secured in our first crossbar. And the next thing you want to do, and this depends on how poofy you want it, kind of fold it under a little bit, and with your main color, you're working at the crossbars. You want to secure, and if you want yours poofier, you can poof it up, you can grab more mesh, but again, like I said, I don't want this one to be that poofy because I need the room in the center of it. I want it to be pretty, but not real poofy. So, I'm going to go around and tie them all at the crossbars. Keep rolling your mesh out. And you go all the way around your ring, just fastening this as poofy as you want it to the crossbars. Just the crossbars right now. Okay, so I've gone all the way around and I've secured all the red mesh into just the crossbar, just only the crossbars ties, the ties at the crossbars. That's the only ones. And when I got back to my starting point, I opened up that tie and I secured the end into that tie with the starting point. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is you want to remember the ties that you put in the center of the crossbars, and you want to follow suit with your main color and go all the way around your wreath, poofing it as much as you want and putting as much as you want into the outer ties, and you go all the way around again just like you did the first time, and that'll be with your main color. Okay, now I've gone all the way around the wreath twice. Once with the red mesh on the ties that I put on the crossways, and then once I went around the mesh again on the ties that I put in the center. So that's gone all the way around twice. Okay, now we're going to start with our other mesh, which is our second color, which on this one is green, that it's not as wide as the red mesh was. The red mesh was 21 inches wide. This one is only 10 inches wide. This is kind of like an accent color. And what you're going to want to do when you start with it is similar to the way you started with the red, is you'll find a crossbar and you'll put your first piece down and tie it onto the crossbar. The difference in what you're going to do this time is you're going to zigzag. Instead of going crossbar, 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 you're going to go crossbar, outer tie, crossbar, outer tie, crossbar, outer tie. And you're going to go back and forth all the way around like that. Okay, so I've done my first few of the accent color, which is green on mine, and it's the 10-inch mesh instead of the 21-inch mesh. And remember, as always, my wreath is not as poofy as you would probably like yours to be, but you can make these as poofy as you want or as not poofy as you want. The poofier you make them, the more mesh you'll probably need of each size. So what I did was I started on a crossbar and I tied the green into the crossbar. And of course I tucked the raw edges and then tied it. And then I went to a center tie that's not on a crossbar and I tied it. Then I went back to a crossbar tie and I tied it. And then I went back to my next outer tie and tied it. And you'll do that all the way around your wreath until you get back to your starting point. Now I've gone all the way around the wreath with the zigzag method, inner, outer, tied it all the way around with the green accent color. I like lights in my wreath. I found these little red, white, and green bulb lights. I found them at Walmart. They were $11 and something for a pack. And each pack has 70 bulbs and is 19 feet in length. I bought 2 packs just in case I need them to go around this big wreath. But what I'm doing now is I'm going in and I'm tying the lights in certain areas to intertwine it with the wreath. As you can see, just to stabilize the lights and kind of hold them in place. I'm just working my way around and tying them periodically in there so that my wreath will have lights whenever I get finished with it. Okay, so I've gone all the way around, placing my lights all the way around my wreath. Just kind of loosely placed them. Depends on the length of your light strand as to how tight or loose you place them. And I intertwined them into the ties so that it would kind of keep them in place. This is one light strand. I didn't end up using the second one. And the next thing I'm going to do, I did the first couple ones right here, is I'm going to take my ribbon. You can use whatever other color ribbon you want, whatever color. And I'm going to start weaving that in there. And I'll kind of place it in areas trying to kind of conceal the cords on my lights. And you'll go all the way around your wreath doing that. Okay, so I've now completed putting the ribbon all the way around the wreath. You can still see some of the light strands, but we've got some other decorations we're going to add to it. And then once we get to the finishing touches, if there's still some eyesores with the light strands and stuff, then we'll kind of touch that up with little pieces of ribbon here and there, or ornaments, or whatever works. Now it's time to heat up the hot glue gun. Okay, so I've got the hot glue gun warming up, and what I'm going to do with that is I've got some miniature ornaments that I'm going to place throughout the wreath as accents to the wreath. You can do whatever you want, bows, ornaments like me, whatever you like. I've got them separated over here into colors. I've got red and green, green, red, and white. And that is in hopes of not getting the same colors too close to each other sometimes. And then I also have a few more ornaments. These are new ones. These are ornaments that I took off of another project that I had done in previous years, and I'm recycling them by using them again. These are some ornaments I bought the other day at Hobby Lobby. The L for our last name, and just some different little ornaments. I haven't opened them yet. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I see a little spot right there. I'm gonna stick an ornament, so I'm gonna squeeze me a little bit of hot glue there. Sorry. And I'm gonna take my ornament and I'm gonna stick my ornament right there. And just let that sit and dry. Also, when I separated my ornaments, I counted my ornaments, so I kind of know, I divided my wreath into what I call 4 sections, top, bottom, and each side. Counted all my little ornaments, which I had 64, and that kind of gave me an idea of how many to put, or how many I have to put on each side if I want to use that many, just to kind of keep it even and spaced out. So I took the 64 and I divided it by the 4, and so I have about 16 if I want to use 16 to put on each section. Okay, so I've gone around the ornament. You can definitely see a top because I used the bells on the top, and then I have the L for our last name on the bottom, so you can distinguish a top from the bottom of the wreath now. I've gone around the wreath. I have hot glued ornaments in different places. I've also used these clips in certain places where I wanted to try to use the ribbon to hide the cord and I wanted to stay there. I'd hot glue it and I clipped it. Or if I wanted the mesh to stay in a certain area, I would hot glue it and I would clip it just for a little extra reinforcement. Okay, so I'm done hot gluing the ornaments. I have used all my ornaments. I have, in certain areas, glued the ribbon down or moved it a little bit or moved the mesh a little bit and glued it in order to fill in any spaces or gaps or help cover the cords. I have a bell on top right now and then an L for our last name marking the bottom. I did use all of my ornaments, all 64, and they were miniature ornaments. So I decided to go back and add a little finishing touch, and I added a bow that I just made with some ribbon that I had to the top of the bells to kind of close that off. So this is the finished product with the lights off. The lights in the room are off, not the lights on the wreath.